In the week's top stories here on RT, anger rages for a second week in the wake of Donald Trump's decision to recognise Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Clashes between Palestinians and Israeli police caused deaths and injuries. Also to come, President Putin kickstarts the withdrawal of Russian troops from Syria during a surprise visit after military chiefs declare ISIL's defeat in the country. And spending the holidays in the heavens, a Russian spacecraft launches from the Baikonur Cosmodrome, taking 3 crew to the space station on the final manned mission of the year. Hello, welcome. The latest developments and a look back at what's been happening over the last 7 days too. You're watching the weekly here on RT International. Now, deadly violence between Palestinians and Israeli security forces still shows little sign of abating. It follows Donald Trump's incendiary decision earlier this month to recognise the disputed city of Jerusalem as Israel's capital.
Tensions is increasing. Israelis are throwing tear gas bombs that are filling the place. Buffer zone and tensions are increasing. The ambulance is here taking the injury.
Well, throughout the week, RT has been hearing impassioned reaction to the resurgence of violence in the region.
People can open the Bible and to count how many times Jerusalem is mentioned there. They will find out also that Jerusalem is not mentioned even one time in the Quran, not even one time. People will find out that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel since 1948.
The whole world is condemning this action because simply it's against the international law, it's against the framework for the peace process. It has forfeited, the United States forfeited its position as a broker to the peace process. And I'll tell you something, the Israelis have killed 4 Palestinians in the past 2 days in peaceful protests, while no Israeli was killed. There was an injury in an attack in West Jerusalem.
Everything is a lie, first. Everything my opponent says is a lie. There were 3 terrorists killed in Gaza Strip, which has nothing to do with the protests here, because Gaza Strip, they fired rockets, and they forget about it. They just forget that they fire rockets at Israeli kindergarten. When people who are followers of Hajj Amin al-Husseini, Hitler's collaborator during Second World War, those who created Fatah before 1967 to destroy Israel, when the same personalities come and teach us morality, listen, come on.
They cannot be defending themselves while they are illegally on somebody else's land. That is unacceptable. What they've done, what they're doing, what have been doing since 1967 is an aggression. And with your other guests,
this has never been your land. Never been your land in history. Whose land is this?
You were born in Russia.
Donald Trump kept his promises, and he is trying to do his best. We are grateful, but the issue is not Donald Trump. The issue is these people go around to murder innocent Europeans, Russians, Americans, and we are here in the Middle East, the only democracy, the only really light in this very dark environment.
Reaction to President Trump's move has reverberated throughout the Muslim world, where leaders have lambasted his, quote, null and void decision. The Organisation of Islamic Cooperation convened an emergency session in Turkey on Wednesday, and it called for the international community to recognise East Jerusalem as the Palestinian capital.
We condemn the U.S. decision on Jerusalem because of its great bias against the historical and permanent rights of the Palestinian people in Jerusalem.
Important, I want to point out, to ignore some of the distortions.
The United States' decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel is a dangerous one. It will threaten security and stability and frustrates efforts to resume the peace process.
The president is committed to this peace process, as committed as he has ever been.
Every possible step must be taken to prevent the implementation of this illegal action by the U.S. administration. However, there is one question that sticks out here. What factors and elements made it possible for the U.S. president to dare to take such an outrageous act?
That type of rhetoric that we heard has prevented peace in the past, and it's not necessarily surprising to us.
Well, despite heavy criticism from Arab leaders and also European allies, President Trump does not seem to be that concerned, as Caleb Moppin explains.
Well, it's now the time of year in which Israel celebrates Hanukkah. And this comes after Donald Trump's dramatic decision on Jerusalem, which may seem like a huge gift.
We wish you a very happy Hanukkah. And I think this one will go down as especially special. And right now, I'm thinking about what's going on and the love that's all over Israel and all about Jerusalem. The love that's all over Israel.
Trump went as far as actually praising himself for the all but controversial move. His point? His predecessors only made promises where he actually delivered.
Jerusalem is still the capital of Israel and must remain an undivided city accessible to all.
As soon as I take office, I will begin the process of moving the United States ambassador to the city of Israel as chosen as its capital.
I continue to say that Jerusalem will be the capital of Israel.
So why is Trump so gleeful about his decision? Has the international community praised him for it? Nope.
Very dangerous decision.
We do not agree.
We clearly disagree.
These decisions are unhelpful.
From the European Union member state side, this move will not come.
So, is it what the American people want? Well, not according to this poll taken ahead of Trump's decision. 63% of Americans say that they oppose the move. But it's popular in Israel, right? Well, not with all Israelis.
I think of all my friends that live in Jerusalem that are in much greater risk than they were before.
I think it will cause a lot of people deaths and a lot of violence.
I think it was a reckless decision and a reckless time to announce it.
He's like a man who is playing in comedy films or in gangster films. So he's taking his pistol suddenly and he's shooting.
All of my friends told me the day he announced it that they're pretty much scared to go back to Jerusalem because they don't know how it's going to be and they're scared to leave their houses.
But Trump did win over some of his harsh critics in the Democratic camp.
Jerusalem is the capital of the State of Israel, something the United States Congress has reaffirmed and a fact of history that cannot be denied.
I support the decision to recognize Jerusalem as the eternal capital of Israel and to move the U.S. Embassy there. This decision is long overdue and helps correct a decades-long indignity.
There may be benefits for him personally. He may be tipping his hat to his base and saying, you know, this is a campaign promise that I made. He sees it more important for his personal legacy and for his supporters to do this, regardless of its effect on world opinion, regardless of its effect on the United States and world opinion, and regardless of its effect on the Palestinian people.
The world is not happy with the move. America is not happy with the move, but Donald Trump thinks it's terrific. A year ago at his inauguration, Donald Trump said that from here forward it would be America first. Well, it's starting to look like maybe it's Trump first. Caleb Moppin, RT, New York.